This is how it looks like right now. Just absolutely beautiful. Is doing some preparations, making the bread, and we will just take this bread and make some sandwiches. This is how our workspace were looking for quite a while. This is Alina's computer. I would just sit here and just an absolutely beautiful view. To quickly show you what kind of plans we have actually. From here, this is where we are. We are going to go to Zolvon, and we plan to go to a cafe there, take some coffee. Then we will take the ferry from Zolvon across the fjord. Here we have a church, and most probably we will be able to show you the church too. It's a very interesting looking church. They have a lot of these here. At the top there's a hotel which is very famed. So it's called Turtagro Hotel. So that's where we plan to go next. And then after that we will have two options. Either we can go down through a private road, which is privately maintained, of course, through all of these hills, through the middle of this, and then come this side, and then we will again make a round, come back to our house. Or we can do another thing. From the hotel, then we can take another path, which would just go along the side of the fjords, and we will be able to reach the house rather easily. So both of these are going to be our options, but we do not want to decide this right now. We will decide this once we are at this hotel. Alina is preparing our lunch. Sabo is lying. Kota?
Came out from the oven. I have made some avocado. Scandinavia in general, even when you go to a bakery, most of the time they only have non-veg options which are prepared, and they put meat and cheese together, and they don't understand that some people just want to eat cheese. And I have noticed that in Scandinavia, in smaller places, it's so much more difficult to find vegetarian food than Germany. But obviously in big cities you will find vegetarian options, but in small places it's difficult. The gas station.
So it's very interesting. In Germany you first put the petrol inside and then you pay.
In the inside.
Yeah.
But here everything goes, you can even use this.
Hide my card.
Tanked the car and I got some coffee so we can have breakfast when we wait for the ferry.
We have stopped here, and this looks very beautiful. Some coffee,
breakfast,
some bread. The ferry is about to come. It's very tiny. I think it's one of the smallest ferries we've been on. We will be on. So we just saw this bus and this looks so interesting. You can stand without any kind of problems. Our caddy is very tiny in comparison to this. Yeah.
Ja, wir haben es im Alter erfüllt.
So we just met a German couple from Dresden, and I know like people have a lot of like stereotypes about people from the east, but I think super nice people.
Yeah.
Opened the car for us, showed us like how they're living in the van and things like that.
We were talking for a long time.
Yeah,
and
entire ferry ride.
I think people who travel, they are a lot more like open-minded, nicer, and like used to getting to know people. Now we are gonna leave the ferry. There's a very small, what is it called? Steg, what is it called?
A ramp.
Yeah, ramp. We are used to the big ramp on Ero. I mean, having to take a ferry is absolutely nothing new for us because we know this from living on Ero. But like, this is the smallest
But
ferry
the
ever.
fun thing was that in Ero the ferry turns around, so you never have to reverse and
Yeah.
back onto the ferry.
Yeah.
But here, like, there's only one way you can leave.
And I think maximum 6 cars can be on this ferry.
Yeah.
It's like very small roads.
That's just exactly for one.
And you can already see that fall is starting. The tree colors are changing. It's very beautiful, especially with the contrast of the water. And then also you have all these apple farms everywhere.
So we're now at the church, finally. And there's going to be a guided tour happening in just 15 minutes. So we're waiting for that. And right now, if you see, that's essentially where we came from. The other side, that small city right there. This is definitely very beautiful. I think like,
No drones allowed.
yes. And I
But
almost
it was-
heard some things.
Barrett was going with the drone, and then
And-
I just saw the sign and I told him Barrett, no
The
drone
guy
is
was
allowed.
like-
And then the guy who came out of the building, he was like, yeah, no drones.
But he was like, they were looking for some guy yesterday who was flying the drone here, and he said like if they would have found him, they would have kicked his ass. And I was like, okay, that's a nice little warning to give right now. So you just have to, yeah, be careful, read the things. Alina, I would appreciate a warning next time a bit earlier.
Yeah, I saw it and then I told you.
So I just saw this brochure here, and I wanted to give you a few key points of the church so that it's also a bit more educational. Turns out all of these stave churches, like I don't know how they call it, stave church, I have no idea, but they were built between year 1100 to 1300. And they're saying that at that time, because of the Black Death, the plague that was happening at that time, all of the new buildings were at a halt. So this is the time when these were built, and the trees of this timber with which this is built is from 1129 to 1130, which is just crazy. Almost 1000 years later, now we are here. Absolutely crazy. And it also says of the original approximately 1000 churches, just 28 remain. And that's the city where we came then. Like the ferry started somewhere there. It's just crazy how much zoom you can do. We didn't realize two things here, like when we were reading. The first one was that it is the oldest stave church, and they got the name stave from the wooden big poles that they have. And very nice. I mean, I had no idea. And also UNESCO heritage, another detail I miss out. We are going to go ahead to the hotel that I was talking about previously, and Alina had a lot of questions this time, which really surprised me. What were the questions?
I was asking if that, what is it called, that where the candles were hanging,
Chandelier?
that chandelier was also as old as the church, he said from 1200s. And then I was asking, there was like a picture which looked like it was from Asia or something, and he said that they were picturing like Jerusalem, and probably the guy who made the picture was never there, so he was making this up.
That was very interesting how so many things they didn't see. They said like they were trying to carve a lion, but because the painter essentially never must have seen a lion, which makes sense because traveling around was not so normal at that time.
And then I also saw a lot of holes, and I was wondering if it's rains or something, if there's no water. He said there is a little bit water coming through, but not so much, because previously they used to poke something through, so they would have an extra like seat or something. That was also interesting. Yes.
The roads are absolutely crazy here. You can see now.
It is so tiny.
Only one car fits at the time, and it's supposed to be two-way, and I just don't know.
Have no idea how is this gonna work. So this is really not nice.
Yeah, it's supposed to be more like a state highway or something.
That gets, I mean, a bit easier because you could go a little bit to the side, but still, it's not nice. I mean, and you cannot go that much because you have all this like wood and things lying.
But like the plus side is that it's just absolutely beautiful on the left side. I think
it's very beautiful.
A nature like this I haven't seen.
Yeah.
And I was really expecting that it is going to be very windy and you will have a lot of waves and stuff in the fjords. It's flat. It's crazy flat. That would be just such a perfect place to have a speedboat. But hey, we decided to buy a speedboat on the island and not in Norway. Constant struggle that I'm having is I'm stopping the car every few minutes because it just looks so beautiful. There are no words for it. But then I want to stop, I want to fly the drone or something. Then I think, hey, maybe it doesn't look that nice on the drone. So then we stop it. To be 1 kilometer long.
This is some creepy shit.
Yeah. They have so many tunnels, it's unreal. This looks absolutely beautiful.
So we stopped at a very beautiful spot.
Yeah.
We have 2 waterfalls there. It looks very beautiful. And the color of the water is like even more extreme here. It's like very like green, bluish.
Yeah. And what we saw was there was a house. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. There's a house like right in the hills with must have been such an insane view.
It looks like one of those Instagram pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like the feeling so far is that like Norway is definitely insanely beautiful.
In good weather.
Yes. In good weather. I think in bad weather it just again like gets depressing, just like Denmark. And I think like this is the reason why you hear so many people in Finland and other countries saying that like, you know, winter depression is like essentially a real thing. So that's something you have to keep in mind.
Yeah, because it was raining the last 2 days and I could already feel my mood like swinging. And then also
Alina was like, I do not want to stay here. We
I'm
need
so
to go
depressed.
to Turkey as soon as possible.
And then I also spoke to this German couple and they said the same thing, that the last 2 days were really depressing.
I think it was a very nice conversation because like we could understand that everything that we are essentially feeling about Norway, they have the same opinion. That Norway is like, first of all, very expensive. Like you have to pay like a huge amount for anything that you're doing. Also like some kind of outside activities and so on. And groceries and stuff, very expensive. So, I mean, that's the main thing.
I'm very hungry.
Yes.
Let's wrap it up and go. Reached the hotel. It's in the mountains.
Alina's very disappointed. Everything closed on Sundays, even restaurants.
After living in Denmark and now in Norway, I'm just so sick of places where you have to drive so many kilometers to find a restaurant where things are closed on Sundays. But there's just no variety. That's why I want to go to Turkey as soon as possible. They have such nice restaurants, cafes, nightlife. Everything is open at night on Sundays. And
But on the other hand, you just have.
Turkey is also very beautiful and has so much variety in nature.
We will be going on that small road now.
Start somewhere in the mountains. It's very cold. You can see snow everywhere. We had to take out the jackets. It's very beautiful. We just flown the drone and you can see the footage now.
This is very, very beautiful. Norway is expensive, but beautiful.
So we have set up. We want to make some ramen.
It's running.
We managed, and because we couldn't get this thing on in time, we putting some stones.
Alright, baby. Didn't tell me about it though. Bought everything on Amazon, but doesn't know how to use anything.
Yeah, of course.
That Bharat is supposed to figure out.
Yeah, that's your job.
The engineer in the family.
Yeah, exactly. I cook, you are supposed to do these things. I think that's a pretty good distribution of work.
We didn't have the normal. And Alina has already started.
No, I'm just checking.
Only thing that makes Alina happy.
Nothing a bit more.
Because we didn't have the grill, we have just put some stones here. And it's still running fine. That's what you eat when you're in the mountains in Norway. Always have a gas stove and then just cook anything you want.
Parrot is still posing for the picture. So the ramen is done. We have split it up.
So tasty.
And honestly, eating in nature always it tastes so much better.
It's so much cheaper. We went to the restaurant. The restaurant we drove almost up a hill. It's closed. No notification, nothing. Like, how many restaurants can be closed on Sunday?
And there's no restaurants around. You have to drive at least 20-30 kilometers to find something.
Nice for hiking and stuff, but I think if you are into food and things like that.
I think it's good for a few weeks holiday, but then I'm happy to go to another place.
Now we are just rinsing off the pans. I left it for you. Man, that's how life should be. Chilling out anywhere. And Alina, this woman can break her leg anywhere. It's so different here. This grass, it's not grass, just some algae. I don't know what it's called. And even on rocks you have some of this growing.
Again.
I will quickly show you how to remove the gas container. Of course, make sure it's off. Then you have to unlock the gas. Happens from here. Take it out. And that's it.
And you have the lid?
Yeah, you will have the lid and then we can just close it. That's very convenient. I mean, I didn't know that it's so simple.